This is the Chalk Talk Show, your Call of Duty show for pure punditry, expect no expertise, and we're back after a week. We took a week break after the major. We're back into our online qualifier matches. We have a lot more matches coming up this time around because we're doing, I think it's double round robin? We're at least doing some sort of round robin and not the set schedule for teams. All right, let's talk about this first week. Lots of matches. How are you guys feeling? It's been a bit since we talked COD.
I don't know, just on recovery time. Mostly, honestly, I haven't been thinking about Call of Duty because I've been no-lifing dead man mode. So much that I tore my rotator cuff. So
What?
shout out me. Gaming, esports players are real athletes, I tore my rotator cuff playing fucking RuneScape, shout out me. Shout out old age. Shout out shoulder problems I've had since high school playing actual sports, but way she goes.
There's always said esports is a young man's game, but how the fuck does that happen?
I don't know, man. I was just murking these kids in the no honor tribrid fights, and what can I say? They had to stop me.
Jesus Christ.
Those words mean nothing to you guys, I know, but
They
for
don't
those that
understand
know,
what a
they'll
rotator-
understand.
Bro, are you looking up what a rotator cuff is or something like that, or how you tear it?
No. He knows. He's our football guy. He knows all about the shoulder
True.
injuries.
True.
My mom once tore her rotator cuff. She fell when skiing and she tore it. She's still got a weird shoulder issues because of that. But yeah, Call of Duty. First week of more than 2 months of qualifiers, basically. So, not looking too deeply into anything yet. Gonna wait for a couple more weeks to transpire, see a couple trends that are happening in the lead up to this next major, and see where we go from there.
You didn't really get the chance to watch all matches, right? Weren't you out skiing, touching grass, or touching snow?
Yes, correct. I was touching snow, exactly. Yeah, just spending time with a girlfriend and her family, hitting the slopes, getting some fresh air, getting away from the monitor here. It was a nice change of pace.
To be fair, you didn't miss too much.
I went back and watched the ones with the teams that I was interested in seeing and cared about. And, tell me what those teams were, Dino. Please.
Sure. Okay. We'll get into it right away, shall we? I was going to say super week, but I think every week's going to have this amount of games. What is it? 4 on Saturday, 4 on Sunday, 3 on Friday. Let's start with Friday. Optic Texas, Boston Breach, Fast 3-0. Whole day was 3-0s, quite honestly. Really fast day. Koi, Carolina Royal Ravens. Ravens bounce back from their LAN performance, hitting them with 3-0. Now, 1 second before we go there. Miami Heretics 3-0 phase. Very interesting times. Going back to the Toronto Koi thing. Full disclosure, I have worked with Koi at this point for work with them for their own official Blacklight podcast. But I just want to highlight something specifically. Joe on that podcast in the end went, Nero is going to destroy us. He is the greatest onliner. Bro fucking hard jinxed him and the team to the point of roster changes. More on that later. Next day, Saturday, Gentlemates, Riyadh Falcons, 3-1. I did think Falcons would look stronger than we've seen them before, but I still had Gentlemates taking this one. Optic Texas G2, yo. I had an inkling that G2 might take this against Optic. I did put 3-2 in my pick'ems, but holy shit, the fucking Minnesota chokes continue, but that was a very, very heart-racing match for Optic fans out there. That one honestly should have gone to G2. Next one, FaZe, Koi, Fast 3-0, let's move on. Next one, Thieves with a brand new look on the roster. Surge coming in trying to prove themselves as potentially still a good team after a slight spark in LAN. But no, Thieves take a 3-1. We'll touch more on this roster change later on. Last day, Gentlemates, Heretics. Gentlemates taking a 3-1. Honestly, this match, they looked like they were just testing out their map pool and whatever. Looking super strong. Breach, Falcons. I think Orion's right. It's just a coin flip. It's coin flip with this team Falcons. But the thing about 50-50 coin flips is you can lose many times in a row. I'm a fucking gotcha gooner, so I know how that is. Next match, Ravens, Thieves. It's the grudge match. It feels like a fake grudge match beef sort of thing.
It's such a fake grudge match,
Right?
man.
I know, right? They these
I didn't
players
even know it
talk
was a
about
grudge match. I didn't know.
there's just like some shit talking, some body shooting, but it doesn't really matter. And quite honestly, this match didn't matter either because it was a fast 3-0. The last match, we'll touch on this one. They saved the fucking disaster match for the last one of the weekend. G2 versus New York. I'm honestly not impressed with any of them. But first things first. Oh my god, we're all surrounded by all this fucking ultra shit. I'm fucking wearing Bean's old fucking jersey here. He actually wore
The real
this.
one.
Fucking,
Game worn.
I was wearing this during the match to just get something going, dude. I had to take it off immediately after the hard point because it was awful. You know, it did smell a little bit like him, so I'm kind of concerned about that. But anyway,
How do you know what bean smells like?
it had like a scent, like a
Don't ask
cologne.
questions you don't want the answer to.
Okay, anyway, we're not talking about Ultra, we're talking about Koi and how terrible they look. Oh my god, I can't believe I'm saying this, dude. I feel like I jinxed them so hard, bro. But anyway, tell me what you saw, cause I wanna put put bleach or something, bro. Go on, start it for me because this hurts. This hurts me to the core, dude.
Just no matter what they did, they could not hold a setup to save their lives. I mean, a little ironic, because in Call of Duty you die and your life is taken from you, but no matter what they did, the other team just said, "Okay, we're gonna try to break now," and they did it. They didn't stand a chance. I didn't know what was going on. I don't know what to say other than that. They're helpless.
I mean, this just looks like a team that knows that the roster is going boom. Like, I don't know if it was actually discussed at this point, but like, they just looked like they knew a roster change was coming or something. They just had no passion. It's just ugly. It's like, you're in that rank game and you just like watch in a kill cam, like for one of your teammates while you're dead, them just like lose a super easy gunfight and you're just your hope vanishes. Like, it's that feeling as a team. They're just like mental boomed is the expression I would use for them. There's no hope right now because the players don't have hope and they don't look like they like playing with each other and they don't look like they're having any sort of fun or, they don't have any passion for the game. Like, I don't, at this point, I'm just saying the same thing differently, but just mental boom.
I want to go more specifically because when that match started, I was locked in watching the match. They choked that first hard point against Ravens so hard, and I think it's literally that match that did it. It's that specific match that imploded the team. Back in BO6 when FaZe started off really, really badly and people were talking about making roster changes before the first major, but all it took was that one S&D against Miami where Simp 1v3'd Miami, and they attribute that as what kept that roster together. It's the reverse here, I think. They had such a big lead going to the fourth fucking point, and they choked it so hard at the end. They played with no energy afterwards, and that carried on to their FaZe match. Now, all I have to say is that going into that match, I still believed and I still saw glimmers of hope for this specific roster to turn it around. Like from what I saw at the players when I was interacting with them, like there was still something there. There was still chemistry. There was still something that can be put together. But that one match just blew it up for me, and you could see it in their eyes. It was just really sad.
It's just ugly, man. I'm glad they're doing a roster change because honestly, this team sucks to watch. It's like, them being our home team and everything. It's just, it's pretty grim. I got nothing to say other than that.
Davey, before I go into it, do you think they should pick up Kips, or do you think it should have been someone else, like your boy Spark, for this one, since he hasn't been picked up by your thieves like you wanted?
So, I mean, I think you'd be able to turn this team around with or without a roster change. Realistically, I think recently it's been really bad, but the team has too much like success historically. The players are too talented individually to continue being this bad. I think if they put the work in, they could turn it around. I think essentially this has just been a really bad slump. But when it's like when the major went that poorly and you're on the biggest losing streak in your franchise's history, I think that can start getting in your heads, and I think a bit of a quicker fix would be to make a roster change and see if that does anything. Just mix things up a little bit.
But you think for a challengers player like this, or just someone else? Like, hell, I feel like there's a lot of people who could have slotted in. I feel like even the Beads roster would have been better at this point.
Well, if you think about it, last time Toronto picked up a rookie, to my knowledge, that I can remember, was Insight, right?
It would have been Insight Cammy, yes.
So
just racking my head right now.
That went well. Toronto, like, if you're a rookie and you want to like develop into a pro caliber player, I don't think there's a more stable place to land than Toronto. So I think if Kipps is talented, I don't know if there's a better spot he could have gone to realize his full potential than Toronto. They're going to teach him how to calm well, which I think is really important, and still what I think is harming Falcons a lot. And as long as he can shoot and they have chemistry, because these players have chemistry, like with Real, like they can have chemistry. There's just so much like built up in their minds now that they're just in like a funk. They have like brain fog. If they can just get rid of that, I think you can slide in a whole bunch of different pieces here and you can find improvement.
Yeah, it's a roster change for a mental reset, not because there's a problem with the roster, but sometimes you just need a victim to blame, right? I saw this all the time in League of Legends. The team's underperforming. This is also in traditional sports. The classic move for this is you have a good roster of players, like you have all the talented players that you want, and you feel like the roster construction is good. What do? You just boot the coach because you just need something to blame all the problems on. And so you just remove something from the organization. You just say, well, this guy was the cause of it all, and you get rid of him, and then, you know, it's a mental reset for everyone involved. It's not even like it was actually a problem with that person or thing or whatever. It's just that, you know, you need something to mental reset because, you know, the vibes are chalked, right? Like they're mental boomed, as I was saying. So you just need something to get them back into the right headspace. So hopefully this is the right thing for them. I will say for Kipps, I do agree generally, Davey, with your point about like Toronto being a great place to go as a rookie. This is a Toronto that is going through an identity crisis with Kleenex. I don't know anything about Kipps as a challenger player, full discretion. I don't watch challengers. Trying to watch challengers is like the most degenerate thing, in my opinion, just because like it's like from a viewing experience, it's just terrible, man. I'm sorry. I don't like co-streamers, man. I want official broadcasts with real casters. Doesn't exist in challengers anymore. I don't watch challengers. So I don't know
maybe you
what
should
kind
jump
of...
on that because they do broadcast it with shift and study.
Yeah, but it's like, man, my college broadcasts back in the day were higher quality. Like, I don't know what they're doing behind the scenes, but like, you know, it's pretty grim. No shade at Stud or anything, but like, it's grim.
I honestly think that like, unless you like work in the scene and you know, you will improve at your job from watching challengers. Like, just as a random dude, like we have better stuff to do than watching tier 2 Call of Duty. Like we don't have time for that.
Yes, yeah. It is very much insular and coded at this point if you're watching challengers. Like there's absolutely no... Well, we say that, but Barstow has been doing pretty good at bringing non-endemics into it. I don't know.
I will say like during majors, I'll watch like the major challenger majors in the mornings, like before official matches start. But other than that, like I'm not turning on challengers. Be real, I'm not.
I played in the online cups, bro. You think I want to watch one of those? I remember how they were, man. You wait 40 minutes for a team because one guy is like making frozen pizza or something. Like, come on, man, no chance.
You know, it's gotten even worse. Where like, you remember how we did our reporting through game battles for the online cups? Game battles is no more, right? So they've been doing it through Faceit, but apparently Faceit is so bad that if you just report it, and 50 minutes pass, your report will go through, and as long as nobody notices, teams are getting moved forward in these cups, bro.
I mean, to be honest, it sounds like game battles, man. I remember people were making Photoshop pictures of S&D wins. Like, it's just
like
these guys are just degens, man. This is the problem with the COD scene. It's also what makes it entertaining. Like,
I'm just thinking, like, fucking, this shit now is the same as it was back then, maybe even worse. And fucking the entire time, I'm thinking about how I'm fucking stressing out about making sure this our fucking team is fucking in and making sure your fucking ass is awake and ready to play or whatever. I just
Hey, it
like,
wasn't me sleeping through games.
hey,
That's
you
all I'm
fucking
saying.
slept. But I'm just thinking about how I'm stressing so much during these days, and your asses are in chirping at me. You're going, "Where's our script?" I know, and fuck you guys for that. Anyway, off that side
All
tangent.
right.
Off that
Trauma relived here for a little moment. That's why you tune into the Chalk podcast.
Oh,
No, but
shit.
I don't know what kind of a player Kips is. I don't know if he's like a main AR, if he's more of a traditional flex, whatever. But I do think Koi is kind of going through an identity crisis. That might be hard for him to join into that environment if he does have a very defined play style. But he's a challengers player. In theory, he doesn't. So we'll see. I'm curious. Regardless, Koi has a very good history of scouting talent. So I do actually believe in them for picking up challengers players. It's just, the Koi scouting over the last few years hasn't been what it is in the past. It hasn't been horrible, but, they used to find elite amateurs, and now they just find good, kind of undervalued players, I would say.
Well, what I also think quickly is that even if they don't find like an elite player, they like as long as they can kind of get back into their flow, into their really kind of drilled system of Toronto, like I think they won an event and made champs finals with Hixie. Like they don't need an elite player to get back to it,
Two
That's
things.
true.
Two things though. We're so cooked. We're so fucking cooked when you ask the last time they picked up a rookie player. Probably because he's just had so much success, we've blown over him. But fucking Scrap was right. Second, we talk about how Koi is really good at implement. Right, we're so fucking cooked.
Well, no, he wasn't. He was their backup player. He played a match in Vanguard, so he wasn't really a rookie in Modern Warfare 2.
No, but he was the rookie. He was a fucking rookie that they scouted and that they
Well,
fucking
you're right. You're
developed.
right.
Anyway.
I can't believe I forgot about that.
know,
To
right?
be honest, that's crazy.
We just gloss over Hixie because that also counts too, but whatever. But we talk about how you get a young player in and they're really good at developing, they're really good at molding, they have a good system in place, they have a really good floor, but they're going through an identity crisis right now, not just with CleanX. Word on the street also though is that this system we're talking about, the CleanX Insight system, that won't matter in this conversation because word on the street is that they're looking for a replacement for Insight as well. Now the current standings to replace him is Nasty from Boston, which I assume is going to be a 1-2-1 trade, or our favorite free agent Kenny.
No, don't do that.
Kenny would be a huge mistake.
Those
That
are
would be-
apparently the options, according
No,
to our
I'm
wonderful
gonna say, I
reporters on
think
the Call
that's-
of Duty scene.
That's like CDL Intel Twitter accounts talking crazy, bro, just trying to get reactions. Like, there's no way that's real. I have no belief that the Toronto management is that dumb because they've proven themselves time and time again to be very competent. I just, there's zero chance in my mind if they're Kenny. If it's Kenny, let it be known on one of these podcast episodes, if Koi pick up Kenny, I will eat a fucking tinfoil sandwich or something. I'll come up with something funny.
A still frozen pizza.
I'll eat a still frozen pizza on this podcast if they pick up Kenny, man. There's no chance that would be that's so dumb. I'll just say that.
I will update
There's no
that
way.
it isn't our favorite engagement baiting Twitters, but actual breaking point reporters like Ronnie. So there is I'd say there is a little bit of truth to some of these discussions at least. I wouldn't be surprised if they're at least having discussions with some of these players.
The thing about Kenny, I think, in a year where Kenny is still in form and he can still shoot, I think again he would actually fit well with Toronto. Just 2 years in a row now, he's just shown that he is just his ability to keep up just mechanically is not there. Simply put, in theory, if you had Kenny in form, then yeah, it's a good pickup, but that's just realistically not what he is right now.
And also, right now, the whole thing with Koi is a team with identity. At least historically, they have been as Ultra, right? Koi has always been a team with a distinct identity. why would you pick up a player who's known for giving teams identities? Like that just like if you're going that route, you need to drop both Kleenex and Insight, in my opinion. Like you can't have both. It's literally going to be the exact same problem as LA Thieves.
Let me hit you with this though. Let me hit you with this. Okay, we're focusing a lot of the bad games from Kenny, because look, there are also games this season where he has played fucking amazing. Last year, after he moved on to Minnesota, he transformed that team, and he was playing a lot better immediately. Like, are you maybe? He can still shoot.
Transformed,
Don't you think?
I think is
Don't
a
you think it's
stretch.
more?
That's a
system?
narrative.
Okay.
That's a
He
stretch.
did help the team quite a bit to almost making champs. A lot of these phrases I am realizing are not helping my argument, but my point is, isn't it more rather a fault of the systems that he's playing in, Hydra Scrap, versus just him overall as a player? Or have you completely just lost faith in Kenny? You fucking youngins.
If you're, he was on Optic and he was on Thieves in the past 2 years with like very, very talented rosters around him. If he's not able to shine in systems like that, like he's not on like a Ravens or a Surge these past 2 years. He's not in a situation like TJ is. He's been on really, really competitive teams, and he's not just there's no ands, ifs, or buts about it. There's no way around it. He just has not mechanically been able to keep up these past 2 years.
And it's not even a lack of faith in Kenny for me personally. It's just that he's not a good fit for the roster. Again, like you have a team with a distinct identity. You're trying to replace it with a new identity. I think if you're going that route, just do a Cloud9 and blow up the whole roster, because in my opinion, it's either the Kleenex Insight team or it isn't. So if it's not the Kleenex Insight team, fair. Not even any shade at Kenny. It's just like, this is what you're going into. If you want this to be the Kleenex Insight team, you either believe in their vision or you don't. And I think if you don't believe in their vision, don't have them as just random players on your roster. Like, what a huge waste.
Right before we move on to my last point about this, but what about, we've completely glossed over, what about Nasty? There was a lot of heat about Nasty coming to the roster at the start of the season.
The EU chemistry would be evident. I would be interested to see that.
I'd be interested. I would be. I do think as soon as you replace Insight, though, again, it's the same thing as with the Kenny piece. Like, Insight's whole identity on the squad is doing all the dirty work, and probably to a fault, in the same way that, like, in the past I've said Mac does too much dirty work. Like, he needs to play more selfishly. Or I think, like, who's another example? Like, Hixie's probably a pretty good example where he's doing too much dirty work. He needs to play more selfishly. And there's other examples throughout the history of Call of Duty like this. But I think, like, any one-to-one trade is still going to require Toronto Koi to basically rethink how they play the game, because I think when you have a player that's doing that much dirty work, it really gets taken for granted, like how little you have to think about the game. And so that to me is a big question mark for all these changes. Now, do I think Nasty is a good player that would fit this squad pretty well? Like, on paper, again, yes, I think that seems like a pretty good fit overall. But again, I think regardless, as soon as you substitute Insight out of the main roster, this team is going through like an identity crisis ×2. Again, this is one of the foundational members of your team who sets the vision for the identity of the team. Like, that's going to be, I think they're going to be 12th for another major if they replace Insight. And not even saying that they're going to be a bad team, but just like, this is their guy for the last 4, 5, 6 years has it been now? Like, that is a huge shift in the team dynamic.
Yeah, it's like Toronto is a team where, with the Kleenex Insight duo and the very, very drilled, practiced, relaxed system they have, I truly have faith that you could take almost any player, almost any players, and kind of put them in that team, and they'd figure out how to play that style with them and learn how to calm in their style, and they'd be Toronto. If they can't get this system working again, whether with the Kleenex Real roster change or with Kips coming in for Real, if they can't get that fixed, then I think you need to look to breaking up the Kleenex Insight duo, and then you have a whole nother problem of trying to figure out what this new team is. So this is a very, very critical moment for the rest of Toronto's season here, and frankly, the org like going forward for the next few years.
Agreed. Fully agree.
Let me propose to you a change. Let me propose to you a different change here, and this is my last before we move on. I know you wouldn't know it, Davey, but Orion, have you watched Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood?
Not in its full.
But you know what it is, right?
Yeah.
You guys know the idea, the concept of equivalent exchange. You know,
Yeah.
you got to sacrifice something great to gain something great, right? Now stay with me here, okay? Okay, because I don't give a shit anymore about my fucking tangents. For years, I have wanted Toronto Ultra to win champs with insight. I believe at this point we do have to make a change. Do it after major. Do it after major 3 for major 4, right? Insight probably needs to go. Put him on the bench so that he gets a fake win, right? There are other players, some great players that are able to play. Have been saying like, I would love to compete. So what we need, and it hurts me so much, but it will get us the ring. I will sacrifice Insight and put him on the bench. Get Formal in, and we will finally win that ring, brother. And Formal will prove that he is the fucking greatest AR to ever touch the game, dude. Yes, equivalent exchange. I will accept this trade offer for that. Before these bozos can say anything about it, let's move on to another team. Who should we talk about? Who should we talk about? You know what?
What about Miami FaZe? I think that, like, mostly for me, because I want to talk about Miami. In my opinion, this week they showed like Miami's legit, man. They're gearing up to be like to make a run to the grand finals at one of these European majors.
I'm calling it right now. They are going to be top 3. You know what? Fuck it. You said it for me. They're going to be in grand finals. They're going to be Birmingham grand finals. My take right now.
And this isn't even fully unexpected. Like if you look at the tier list we did last time, we had them as the 4th best team, just below Paris, FaZe, and Optic. Like we had them right there.
Their trajectory has continued since Black Ops 6, and it's kind of
they're the new Toronto. They're the new Toronto.
That's actually a great comparison. I can't lie, but the reason I'm bringing it up is because, so first off, they win this first series on the Friday versus Vegas 3-0, right? And again, we've been hyping up Vegas a lot. Vegas, we think, is a really good team. Now, granted, there was some super close matches here. The Overload was extremely close. The Search and Destroy was extremely close. The Hardpoint was a massive blowout, but that's kind of expected with FaZe, to be honest. But overall, this was a tighter 3-0 than it looked on paper. And then they did lose their match against the Gentlemates on the Sunday. And sorry, I'm skipping ahead a bit here, but I think it's worth doing for Miami here. And, you know, the Gentlemates won that series pretty comfortably 3-1 versus Miami. But I also think, like, Gentlemates, like, since we made that tier list, like, Gentlemates is S+ since we've made it.
They're
Like,
fucking testing out their fucking map pool in there. So, yeah. They're just different.
The Gentlemates just look like the by far best team in the game now. Like before we were saying like, you know, like Optic and FaZe could really square up with them. No, after this week of online games, like Gentlemates are truly on a different level. It's not even close anymore. In my opinion, they're just the by far best team in the league. And honestly, Miami was playing them very well in this series. You know, they lost 3-1, but also I think like the Overload, this was maybe the best Overload game I've ever seen, like full stop. In terms of the level of play, right? And it's only going to get higher throughout the year as it does with a brand new third game mode. But this is an extremely high level Overload, in my opinion, like really, really good gameplay on the map. And for that reason, I think that Miami is just like really impressing me right now because this is an S&D team that can win hard points or like go extremely close with teams like Paris Gentlemates in hard points, which is pretty interesting because now, you know, once upon a time I said like, Miami Heretics, this is a team that like I don't have an angle for them to like beat an Optic, beat a FaZe, beat a Gentlemates in an important series to like go all the way in a tournament. Now I have that angle, which is this team can Neslo or they can win a hard point. Like they have a pretty they don't have a clear weak game mode. They have clear strong game modes, but they don't have a clear weak game mode, which I think is super valuable.
Yeah, I want to add on to that. Like what we're talking about is that Miami has their identity of having like always these bang out, gritty, fighting to the teeth respawns. But ever since bringing in Super, that's transformed their S&D play as well. Now the problem before was that S&D wasn't as consistent. Their S&D wasn't as consistent online or whatever, but now it is. And I think it comes down to Rancor and Super have been so refined over the past few months. They're like before we would see them be shooting super well, having these goddamn amazing three pieces, but sometimes making bone dead plays or just being a little not as polished. They're starting to have that now, and I think that's why they have super strong respawns as well as S&Ds that they can pull out and Neslo people with.
What's the pose there? Which player are you emulating with that pose?
Super, no, because he sits far back.
You know who it is.
Is that the super posture? I haven't even noticed it before. I'm gonna be looking for it now.
He sits this far away.
It's so funny, dude. Yeah, because like all the cams are like right up here, and then he's like fucking a whole 2 meters back.
Man, the guy's got some great eyes then or something, I guess. But and also I have to say at the start of the year, I thought Super was such a liability in respawn, man. He's just out there sprinting around. Like, what's that famous basketball quote of like, he tricked y'all, man. He just running around. He ain't doing nothing or whatever. I'm probably misquoting it, but I'm sure some people know. Yeah, that's what I thought Super was in respawns. And now he's kind of figured it out because he's playing like the Kismet play style. And that's what he was trying to do before, just not very well, in my opinion.
Props to Trix as well, because like he was thrown into a kind of rough situation where he's a rookie, and he needed to be quickly molded to fit what they needed on the spot because of how Real left in the first place. But at first it was like a tough initial few matches for him, but he's really just stabilized himself quickly, which is the key part, that he's done it this early on into the season.
Not gonna lie, Real is looking more and more like a jackal merchant by the day. Just, it is what it is. Like, listen, Black Ops 6, I play an SMG mostly. That SMG was disgusting. It's kind of looking like Real is a jackal merchant because he looks horrendous this year. And also Miami looks great without him. So, like, what's up with that, right? But yeah, I'm very excited to see Miami play. I don't really think I have anything else to talk about with them here other than they look like a great team. I think they're going to overperform in a major. I'm really excited to see it happen. This is just a very easy team to root for. You know, I was talking about how LA Thieves is a great team to hate before. This is an easy team to root for. They're the opposite in that way.
Vamos.
Dave, you have anything to add on besides your great impersonation of Super? Because if not, we can transition to your favorite team, LA Thieves, right now.
Okay.
The Neum changed. So at first when I was watching it, the eye test, it did look like Neum was kind of like trying to do a lot. It did look like at first he was like trying to do his best Merc impression. But even if he has some teething issues and is still learning how to fit into the highest level, the system looks a lot better, wouldn't you say? Was Kenny truly the only problem here? What do you think,
No,
Davey?
he was not the only problem. I think this is a good Band-Aid solution. Like, the most obvious glaring issue with Thieves is that one of their players was very often putting up a stinker. If Neum fixes that, that's going to make this team very raw and they're going to, bully a lot of teams that are worse than them just because of the talent they have. But I still think that I have questions, I have doubts about whether this culture, whether all the egos on this team are going to be able to push through kind of more challenging times.
Are these matches fake wins? Are these matches lower MMR wins for them, you know?
Against Surge, again, like I said last time, that needed to be a much more dominant game from Thieves. They dropping a map to Surge is unacceptable if you're LA Thieves, in my opinion.
Yeah, I do. I think one thing in terms of their gameplay, and not to say that this isn't a solvable problem, but something I am seeing is these Thieves overloads, like, something is not right. I'd have to go through and like really do some proper VOD review, but like no. Just like on paper, what do you I like the score of
You
these
said it, bro.
overloads is 7-5
Yeah,
in their surge match,
and
and
6-4 in the other one, right?
6-4 in the other. And in general, the trend is people are scoring less in overload now that like people are sort of figuring out the game mode.
At least
So
on
in
LAN
my
and shit. This is like
yeah,
fake
so
overload, online full overload cheese or some shit, dude.
I don't know, man. Something is still deeply wrong with the way that LA Thieves plays overload. In my opinion, they're just like they're really, really bad at the game mode, man. Like it's crazy how bad they are, to be honest. It just like if not for the talent on this roster, I think they would not have an overload win all year. I think it's really like it's genuinely on that level. There's no way you should be scoring like 12 points in an overload at the pro level. Like that's just absolute insanity to me. I don't think the game mode is designed for that. Like it just should not be working like that, in my opinion. If you're scoring that many points, you should be getting to 8. Like, yeah, I don't know. Just something is deeply wrong with LA Thieves overload. So I do think because of that, I'm not convinced that they're gonna be like able to win a tournament in their current state because you can't just be this much of a liability in one of the game modes.
Dude, not just even the overloads, just respawns in general. Because that first hardpoint was fucking dude. Surge choked that fucking shit, dude. How do you choke that? Like they were supposed to win that, and in the next one, like in the Ravens game, fucking for the first half of the game, Exceed had like 4 kills, dude. And it's still 250, 200. The last Surge game, Surge had nothing left in them, so that's a whatever. But we're saying this about the respawns, and they're still like they're nothing special in S&D still. I don't know what to take about this Thieves team, because it's like okay, if Hydra and Scrap are like winning immediately their gunfights, then okay, yeah, they're winning. But if they're not, if one of them is not, they're so fucked. And I'm watching this, and I'm like, it's like. I don't know if I mentioned this before, but I don't know if I was just yapping about this in the past matches. But when you put LA Thieves, the players, or at least, actually, yeah, if you put any of the players in just a straight up 1v1 gunfight for the hill, 1v1 for map control or whatever, they'll take it. Yeah, that's what they're best at. Scrap and Hydra will get that fucking kill. But when it's like the mid-round situations or like the mid-hill situations where they're just so terrible. It's like the moment like something goes wrong where they're getting team shot, they don't know what to do. Is if they're stunned or like slightly unhealthy in a fight, like they just lose control of everything. Despite the fact Scrap's still like +10 while everybody's still negative. And I was saying that like Scrap and Hydra are just not good in playing a not system situation where it's set up for them, which is why Scrap played so well with Insight, because he was put in a situation where he's gonna be set up for a straight 1v1 fight. You got other people doing that work for you. You got fucking Envoy doing that work for you to set you up to be in the best position. But in this team, like you got 3 people in their individual sections of the map being stunned out and shit, and they're not winning. They're gonna win the fights, but they're not gonna win the map. It's like what Orion used to tell me when he was my coach. How do you win hardpoint? You play hardpoint.
You know what it kind of makes me think of? So, at work, everyone has a boss. Everyone's got managers. And it sucks. They can be on your, breathing down your back all the time. You can find it annoying. But there's a reason bosses exist. There's a reason managers exist. It's to kind of get all of the talent in line. And I think I've been thinking about it a lot, and I think this is why I have not that much faith in just the Scrap Hydra duo. Looking at what Dan Ghosty's now doing on Gentlemates and how much success they're having, I think Dan Ghosty was like the boss, the manager of that team. And I think Scrap and Hydra, this part I might be exaggerating a little bit, but I think their heads are really big. Everyone's telling them they're the best players in the game. They're so talented, so awesome. And they didn't like being bossed around by Dan Ghosty, who's maybe not as good as them. So they say, okay, we're the actual talent in the team. We want our boss gone. But now all the structure of that... there goes all the structure of the team. And you just have raw talent with nothing to kind of organize it and gel it together. And I think that's why I don't have faith in this Thieves team long term. I think the Switch, like I said, was a band-aid, and they'll be able to win against bad teams just because of how talented they are. But when they go deep into Sundays against really gelled, talented teams as well, I think they're going to start to crumble and they're going to get exposed.
I think Dino, to your point, I think it's just Hydra respawns, man. Like I've talked about it in past weeks of this podcast, right? Like this is the Hydra play style. You outslay by 40, you win by 10 in a respawn. And to Davey's point, earlier Davey was talking about how Toronto Koi is like the best place to go as a rookie. They're great at developing young talents. I have to imagine this LA Thieves team is maybe the opposite of that, where it's a very tough place to go if you're a rookie. Because again, we're talking about how we don't really feel like they play the game right, how they just like are relying on raw talent to win games rather than strategy or like team shots or things like this. If you're a rookie coming into that environment and you're taught to just like ego chow, for lack of better words, like that's not a great way to develop. You're kind of, maybe you're going to be fine on this team because you have extremely talented players around you that allow you to play in that sort of way and it not be a big deal. But I think that, it's probably going to be bad for your longevity because you don't have that sort of team-oriented way of playing that, in my opinion, has just shown time and time again that the way you win championships in COD is you play as a team. I think the only year in the history of COD where that has not been the case is Modern Warfare 2, where it was, for lack of better words, just a really cheesy game that perfectly suited Hydra and Kismet's playstyle, and they could just do silly things and win their ring. I think that every single other champs, it's been proven that teamwork is the most valuable stat in Call of Duty. And so, I'm just betting against them on that principle alone. Maybe they are just going to stack talent and it's all going to be okay. And, I'm going to be proven wrong. But you know what? Every year, Modern Warfare 2 looks more and more like a fluke.
Bro,
what do you think, Donna? Do you agree with us?
I loved, first off, I just love the narrative that we're going to push now that the true Mickey Mouse ring was Modern Warfare 2. Not the online ring, not the drum cheese ring, Modern Warfare 2. This is the one team we all have like the same fucking opinion on, and we're in the same camp unilaterally. It's just so tough to watch this team and sort of to watch these players, and so easy to just hate on them. And the worst part is we won't even get to see these theories come true because their next two matches are more fake wins for them to pump up their egos. Koi is next, LAT is next. We have to wait until fucking how long? Feb 28 before they face up against a top team in Texas. So we're gotta keep an eye on this space, I guess. Keep an eye on this space.
Speaking of facing the tough team known as Texas, listen, I know we got some other topics we want to talk about on the show, but I told you I had a little tangent I needed to mention.
Let's hear it.
Speaking of tough matches against Texas, Minnesota played Texas this week. And, last week I talked about how Estriel is the most disgusting choker in the history of this game. And what happens exactly 1 week later in Minnesota's first online match qualifying for this major? They have the most disgusting chokes seen to mankind. I know that they won the first S&D, but that game went from 5-0 to 5-4 and then to a round 11, if I'm not mistaken. Or did they win it in 10? No, they won it in 10.
Map 2 or map 5?
Map 2. So map 2, it was 5-0 for G2. Optic wins four straight rounds.
Yeah, 4 straight.
And then it comes to a 1v1 in that fifth round. Then we get to the final map, and what do you know? G2 has everything going right for them. Like I know that I'm an Estriel hater, but like genuinely, I'm trying to remove my bias for 1 second. I want to like tell you objectively, if you watch this game 5, the Optic Texas G2 Minnesota, like genuinely, G2 was getting miraculous Call of Duty timing, like over and over and over. Like,
it was a joke.
Please watch the game if you think I'm just hating. Like I cannot stress enough how absurd the COD timing was in G2's favor, like round after round too, not just one round, like 3 rounds they got like miracle Call of Duty timing to win the round. And so what do you know? G2 Minnesota chokes it in the game 5. G2 Minnesota has been choking it in the game 5 for 3 years straight now. Every single time, it's the same thing. I feel like I have Stockholm syndrome. The fact I have to keep talking about this, man. Like, just why is there people on the Reddit too? Shout out to Advanced Wolverine, I think is the guy's name. Constantly
and
pushing,
why do I recognize the name too?
Constantly pushing this narrative about Estriel being insane.
He's terrible.
I don't even know if you can hear that, if my mic is going to pick up on it. Like, please, just get rid of this bum, bro. This team is good. Like, oh my God. I'm so tilted every single time I have to watch these series. And then you know what happens? You know what happens on our last match on Sunday? Minnesota farms this Challengers New York roster. And you know what? Everyone's talking about Estriel. I didn't know Estriel had moves like that. He's got a 1.4 against C9.
Oh my God, dude. Let me stop you there.
When it matters, he is a gold player. He is a gold player, bro. Put Davey in for round 11 and this team wins.
Listen, the roots of the industry plant have dug themselves too deep. He's entrenched. He's not going anywhere, man.
I will have to disagree with one thing there. Rant aside, I agree with it. The one thing, they did not farm that C9 match. They did not farm that C9 match. They fucking played to the level of their opponents, and it fucking showed. That hardpoint I watched was the most aggravating thing I've ever seen. Dude, their last hitting the hill for like 5 seconds and shit like that. Like, it's not the loss against Optic that made me lose faith in G2 finally. It is their win against Cloud9 that made me lose faith. It should not have been that close. It should not have been down to the wire like that. It should not have extended to that last P3. Bro, what are they doing? This is disgusting. Yo, this Cloud9 roster, look. What has happened to Cloud9? Orion, you could probably speak to this, but what has happened to Cloud9 or your E-League Boston Majors? What happened to this goddamn org that's just doing this shit for the injection money, dude? This used to be the pride of North America, not Call of Duty. Esports in general, bro. What happened? What? You lose Mango and you can't do anything else? What happened to the days of...
Isn't C9 Valorant still okay?
Who cares?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Who cares? It's NA. Anyway. But like, bro, what happened to the days of Sneaky Low and LOL and all that shit, bro? What happened to Cloud9? Why are they doing this? Why are they still? Dude, I'm so sad. What, bro? These players that they have on they have on this new roster, none of them have beat fucking top 16. Bro. Think of it this way. In Vanguard at the Challengers Pit, Orion's there coaching me. We win one more match. We're the same level as these Cloud9 players. I could have been on that fucking Cloud9 team at this point. Orion could have been fucking right behind me, fucking telling me to rotate, and we could win against G2 Minnesota. Like, these players... No hate to them all. Like, they're all super young players. That Hyde guy is apparently still in high school, making $2,000 a month while still finishing his senior year. They could be talents. Encourage was on Stowns, whatever. A lot of drama with him and whatever. But these players came out from nowhere. They picked the bottom of the barrel. Nobody wanted to take the Cloud9 roster. Not even Censor wanted to take the Cloud9 offer, if he even got one. Who put this team together? This is just terrible for them. This is just career suicide for them. Like, I expect this team to do worse than the first Falcons team from last year.
All right, then here, let me spin it this way for you, since we're talking about this. Over the years of, the CDL, we've had some real stinker teams. We had Paris Legion and Vanguard. We had Boston Breach in Modern Warfare 3. We had Falcons and Black Ops 6. Saying they're going to be the worst team in the history of CDL, like, they have some fierce competition for that title, right? Like they genuinely do.
And I think they're great competitors for that title, dude.
Like saying they're going to be the worst in the CDL, bro. That Vanguard team, I know on paper they have better stats than some of those other ones. That Vanguard team was so bad, man. It was so bad. Like the worst team in the CDL is like, that is a title. That is a huge title. So do we believe in the young talent to like turn it around? Because I have no idea what the coaching staff looks like at C9. I'm actually very ignorant on that fact. If C9 has decent coaching staff, in theory, I don't hate the idea, because if you need to be a development team, you need to be a development team. They're all over the place in traditional sports. You just have an understanding this is a small market team. You play for the draft, you play for scouting, and then you make money by selling player contracts. Like, I don't hate that on paper. I do think, based on the rumors we're hearing about the alleged offers from C9, maybe it's not quite on that level or not quite that thought through. But I don't know. Cloud9 is another team, again, in League of Legends specifically, that was known for finding undervalued players or scouting talent. They brought up a lot of rookies. They also were kind of the first team to like import superstar players with Impact in, I think that was season 3 or 4. And then Impact became just the GOAT of North American top lane, like undisputed, frankly. So like they have been known, this organization, to find talent or undervalued players. But it's also kind of been a long time since they've been known for that. So maybe this is a return to their roots, right? This is like very much so a grassroots esports org where like they were there when there was no money in this thing. They're in some ways primed to be the most successful when there's no money because of that. But to be fair, they need to prove it, right? Like they proved it in League of Legends because they came onto the scene and, were an unknown team of players and then were the undisputed best team in North America within 1 year of playing. I don't think that's going to happen in Call of Duty.
Bro, they're just, to your coaching point, they don't have an experienced coaching staff right now. It's also an unproven coach.
I don't care about experience, though. I think experience is overrated. I'll just say that. I think it's valuable, but I think the management of C9 has experience. You don't necessarily need that at both levels.
I just don't think they actually care about the Colorado. I think they're just putting all their focus into their Valorant roster, as Davey was saying.
This situation. Now I'm going to give you some Overwatch League lore here.
Ah, wonderful! Hit me with it. I love me some.
2019 expansion team comes into the league. Vancouver Titans. Just pick up the entirety of, I think it was the Runaway High Contenders team from Korea. I don't know if I can remember every single player. You have Bumper. You have Sominsu. I'm not gonna be able to remember everyone right now. This team plays their own style. They dominate. They make it to the grand finals in 2019. They lose to San Francisco Shock, but they're still like a really, really good team.
I remember that year.
Start of the second of 2020 comes up.
Year.
Yeah, 2020 comes. Teams start traveling. Like they're actually doing the thing that CDL and Overwatch League were supposed to do, where every single weekend was like an event at a different team city. Unfortunately, COVID happens. That doesn't happen. The Korean players, for whatever reason, I can't quite remember, they feel like they're being extremely mistreated by their org. I can't remember what was going on, but same thing happens mid-season and kind of near the beginning of the season. Whole team, every player gets dropped, and they have to just bring in some contenders team basically, and everyone knows like, okay, this is not a real team. This team's not going to do anything. So we just need to forget about the org right now. It doesn't exist. This is simply a mechanism for players to come in and try to stand out and hopefully get opportunities in the future. And there was a player on that team named Shockwave that did. He got on Philadelphia Fusion the next year, made it to the playoffs. I think even to this day, he's still getting on some competitive OWCS rosters.
Okay, but
this is not a serious team. It's not. They're not going to win anything. These are really young players who, if they keep playing COD, even if this doesn't work out for them, down the road, they'll probably get another chance. Right now, these players simply need to show that they can play the game even individually, and that will try to get them another opportunity after that.
Okay, but
this is not a serious team.
Here's my thing. Here's my thing. Those players they brought in after in the rebuilding phase, were they known contenders players, or at least like in contenders teams that had some heat around it?
It was. So they weren't the worst team, but like it was not the best team, and some of the guys were like players that were already kind of old, and they kind of deserved a chance at this point, but like they were not really league caliber. And then some of the guys like Shockwave were like young, and they were able to stand out, and they were ready to go.
But these were players.
So it was a mix
from like journeyman players, where these journeyman players obviously saw something in these young players to pick them up, right, and to develop them, and to just make this a testing ground, right?
There was no players on the team. They had to pick up a full new roster. There was no journeyman. It was all contenders players that came in to build a full new roster midseason.
Oh yeah, but you're saying that it's also players that not league caliber players but deserve a chance.
Yeah,
like seasoned contenders players. Basically.
Yeah, seasoned contenders players that have been around for a while,
like
have been in the scene for a while, but just
literally.
Yeah, sort of like that.
Yeah. No, I understand. I understand it completely. Where this analogy or this comparison breaks apart, in my opinion, is that these motherfuckers haven't done anything. I'm pretty damn sure I played against Hyde in MW2, my worst fucking game in scrims, and I clutched on his ass, dude. If my washed up ass can clutch on him, why do they they deserve the spot when there's other players who are much better at them? I'm not even talking about your pro loots and narcities. I'm talking about the other people on like Stallions and fucking Huntsmen, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Wasn't Mercules not top 16 when he joined?
No, Mercules has much better places than that. He had a top 8, at least. Adam's playing with like some other good players. Like actually, I say good players, but I'm gonna mention Pro again.
In an ideal world, yes, you pick up players that deserve the chance. But when you're a team when you're being a terrible org in your league and you just are trying to field the team as cheaply as possible, I don't blame some of those players who are actually ready to go to not want to take that. The team contractually must put a team together and make them play. They have to. So at that point, as unfortunate as it is, the reality is you just have to get who you can get to play.
And that's just my problem. It's not the players.
I agree. It's terrible. It's terrible. No, I agree.
Jack! It's Jack I have a problem with, man. Just sell it a space station. Bring back Envy, man.
The problem you have is with the league for getting rid of minimum salaries. I don't know why that happened. You actually, like 50. I mean, even 50 grand is like okay. I mean, if you can live in Texas, I think it's pretty affordable there still. But
hey, 50 USD is not bad, to be honest.
I mean, fair enough. But why you got rid of minimum salaries as a league, I have no idea. I don't know why you would do that because it just opens the floodgates for this stuff to happen. That's all it does.
Yeah, I mean, League of Legends put in minimum salaries literally in 2013 because they recognized that they needed it. Or it was basically that the league paid the minimum salary for players like in a stipend. And then as a result, all the players had a base contract. Now, I don't think Activision is going to pay the players of this league, but I think you can enforce minimum contracts to some extent like that. Also, I think I'm going to massively disagree with all of the Call of Duty community here. If you're an up-and-coming player, you should always take a CDL offer. There's never a time when you should not be taking a CDL offer. Like, that is just, like, I'm sorry, bro. You are not that sick at Call of Duty to be skipping up offers. Like, genuinely, unless you have, like, yeah, just never. Like,
if you're an up-and-coming kid, I agree.
Who's the one who fucked it up? Who's the one who fucked it up? Which guy was it again?
Man, there's been so many.
Mohawk. He's the one who famously denied the Paris offer in Vanguard when that was his best game. He's retired now. Hasn't even won
did he come back?
Shit like that. Multiple times.
Did he come back?
Yeah, but he retires like 3 days after losing the cup.
Oh, he came back this year and retired again this
year? Yes, after the second cup.
Really?
He came back, played the cup, lost, retired again. That's what I'm saying. Like,
that's just weak mental, bro. He's never going to make it.
Yeah, and I just think in general, like, I keep hearing like, Zinni I see clips of Zinni talking about, oh, I encourage this Huntsman player to not take a pro contract. Like, bro, like to all the up and coming players, don't listen to influencers, man. Like, just like, please, like, get a real agent, talk to a real agent. Don't have Zinni be your GM. Like, I think he's probably not even a bad person. Like, by all accounts, he lots of people say lots of good things about him. But bro, like, get a professional agent. Like,
He's probably
just
watched just too much
seriously.
Moneyball recently or something.
Well,
Yeah.
I also think it could be nuanced because if you're on Huntsman, you're essentially part of Optic. Like if you're a Huntsman player, you're on Optic. You're on Optic content, and you're building your brand and your fan base, and that's beneficial for reasons other than simply trying to become a professional player. I think if you're on like kind of one of these more faceless orgs like Team War or Omid or whatever it is, and you're 18 or 19 years old, yeah, definitely do it. Definitely take the offer. If you're, I think, more like close to our age, like 23, 24, 25, and you haven't really gotten a good shot yet, but like everyone kind of knows the kind of player you are, like Exceed, I think Exceed, if he wasn't in the league yet, someone like him should not have taken this offer. And I think even if you are a kid, but you're essentially on Optic, I think that you're going to develop under Optic and you're going to build your brand and be in their content and build a fan base. And I think naturally with that will come more offers. So I think it is nuanced. I think there's certainly players that should be taking this spot and players that shouldn't. And I think the players that took the spot probably are players that should have taken the spots. So I'm on cloud nine, not in the league. Obviously, there's players that are better who should be in the league, but if this is the situation with the org, then they picked up players that I think probably should have said yes.
Totally agree.
Best
And
of
also,
luck
I
to
think the
them.
top of challengers is kind of locked up with washed up pros, right? Like, let's face it, the teams on the top 8 challenger rosters are all players that have played in the league and are kind of known entities. Like, people don't want to admit it, but the challengers pool is very deep in terms of skill.
Okay. Which this actually transitions us very, very nicely. Let's move on. I think we've talked about the teams we want to talk about. I've fucking blown a gasket of talking about Cloud9, and before I keep going into more Doomer Esports about the stipends that they're fucking playing, okay, let's move on. I'm fucking esports unk now at this point, and it pains me to say. Let's move on to our 1v1. The part of the show where I put my co-hosts against each other. I give them a topic, and I tell them I give them a side to argue for, and I let them go off. Today's topic. What is today's topic again? Fuck, this Cloud9 has fucking got me.
Challengers.
Right. Roster change. A lot of these bottom tier teams, mid tier teams, have been making massive roster shakeups. We've been seeing it with Koi. Now, the real question is, what is the best way to fix a dying team? What is the best way to fix a team like Koi, a team like Thieves? Do you, option 1, throw in an unproven challengers player, like Cloud9 did, someone who's super new, maybe has some good showings in the challengers scene, throw them into the pit, throw them into the fire, hope that they're going to be the next Mercules? Or 2, do you use some of these known quantities, some of these older players, experienced players, throw in your TJ Halleys, throw in your Sparts. Maybe you have, I'm going to give you all the resources and money. You can even convince a former legend to come back. An Octane, a Formal. Which one of these do you do? Now, I will be giving the side of challengers player, unproven. Let's see if they're the next Mercules. That argument will go to Davey. Veteran players, potential retired legendary players, that goes to Orion. Who wants to go first?
I'll start it off. Because mine, I think, is very simple. And the way I would argue this is just that all these people that are, proven CDL talents, but proven as in like they're not good enough for the CDL. People say is they're just farming challengers, bro. They are just the best players available. Like, every time Mac and Vivid get kicked off a roster, especially Vivid, like Vivid is a classic example. Every single year, Vivid's on a middle of the pack team. He gets kicked, and then the team gets worse. And then you know what Vivid does every single year? He goes to Challengers and he farms Challengers. And like, it's not even close, man. We watched Challengers Champs live where, you know, Mac and Vivid didn't lose a single map, and they didn't even get close to losing a single map. Like, they're just steamrolling that competition. So, in my opinion, you know, the reason the top 8 teams in Challengers are full of washed-up has-beens, as we might call them, is just they are the best players after the CDL players. And yeah, they might be players that are never going to be like superstar-level talents in the CDL, but they're just extremely good players, right? Like, it's the difference between like trying to say like a college basketball player versus the G League, right? Like, yeah, the G League is not the NBA, but those players in the G League are the best non-NBA players and are direct competitors that you would dip into if someone got injured and you need to call someone up to the NBA. Like, they're just the next best players. They're not washed up has-beens. They're just the next best players.
I think there is definitely a time and place to be picking up those kind of in and out of the league older Challengers pros. I think if you're a team like hypothetically, if Optic or if FaZe needed a change and the team's like right there, it's just one person's not really performing, you got to put someone in, grab a top Challengers player, sure. Most of the time, it is not top of the league kind of right there teams that are making roster changes. Most of the time, the teams that need to make roster changes, where most of the roster changes happen, is with teams that are bad. And the top Challengers players, it's like, yeah, those are the best players currently available, but the problem is they're the best players currently available because they're theoretically the worst players that could be in the league. So if you're a bad team and you need to make a switch, you need to be looking for upside. You need to be taking a young player that can improve. If you're a Surge, I hated this move so much, picking up TJ Haley, you might get a little more gunny, but it's not going to do anything for you because Tej is a fringe league player as it is right now.
Hey, hold on. Let me... Sorry, do you have more that you want to say, Davey?
No, go ahead. We'll get into it. It's fine. We'll get into it. It's fine. You go.
You're telling me that LA Thieves looks worse with TJ than Neum?
I think, again, LA Thieves specifically, this is... I don't want to make this a black and white conversation. This has nuance. It can have nuance. LA Thieves has more of a culture problem than a talent problem.
So you're telling me you put Fat Bob, this really likable, laid-back guy in there, that doesn't solve their culture problem? Like, that's the thing. There's more to the game than talent, right? Like, there's personality hires is a classic thing you hear in corporate settings. Oh, that guy's a personality hire. And you know what? Those personality hires usually get promoted because you know what? Not hating someone's guts every single day you go into work is pretty valuable, as it turns out.
I agree with you. The problem is, this isn't the corporate ladder. This is a competitive environment. It is, sports and esports are theoretically as pure of a meritocracy as you can get in the world. If you're not good, I don't care if you like this person or not, they're not good, get out. And that's why some of these top Challengers players are available. That's why TJ is always in Challengers. It's because if he's in the league, he's barely good enough to be in the league these days. So if you're a terrible team like Surge, you're picking up a player that's barely good enough, so you're barely going to improve. You should find young players who, even if they're not good right now, they can become better. We don't know what they are yet. You need to find players with potential because imagine if this is a bad example for the NFL right now because Sam Darnold just won the Super Bowl. But most of the time, it's like if you're the New York Jets, you don't plan on becoming, finishing your rebuild, finally becoming a competent team. You don't do that by picking up an old, washed quarterback. Look what happened with Aaron Rodgers. And I know you probably don't understand that, but you need to go into the draft and find a player that's maybe really good, but we just don't know it yet. Picking up a mid player is going to give you mid results if you're a bad team.
In traditional sports, I see the angle. Where it's different in Call of Duty is, imagine if the rules of football changed every year. That's what we have in Call of Duty, right? Like every single year is a different game that favors different play styles, and there's different ways to win. So we were talking earlier in the podcast today about how Modern Warfare 2 is a Mickey Mouse year because it was just like, stare cheese with the Vaznev and like, win the game.
Fuck that game.
That's not really possible in Black Ops 7, right? So in my opinion, these players that are, at the top of challengers, like kind of on the cusp of being in the league year after year, you just need to understand what kind of players they are and then farm them in the years they're going to be good. TJ is always really good in Treyarch games and like kind of what I would say more traditional high skill Call of Duty games. He's always proven himself to be good. He was good in advanced movement, is my understanding, kind of before my time. He was good in Black Ops 4. He was good in Modern Warfare 3. He was good in Black Ops 6. He's good at that Treyarch style of game. You know what he's not very good at? Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 19, the really kind of what I'll call the cheesy Call of Duty games. I know some people are really into them, but for me, I think they're just kind of cheesy Call of Duty games. So in my opinion, you just need to understand which games these like kind of cusp of the CDL players are good at, and then you pick your moment to snipe them, because again, they're known quantities. You know what you're going to get out of TJ in a Modern Warfare 2 year, you know what you're going to get out of him on Black Ops 6 year, and you know what, TJ was one of the best SMGs for the first 2 majors of Black Ops 6. I'll say that with my chest, bro. He was better than Hydra in Major 1, full stop.
So I actually am going to take a different argument, but like the other side of the same coin. It's true that, in Call of Duty and in esports, balance changes come in, different titles come out, and the game changes. I think that means an aspect of being a really good, really prominent, prevalent player is your ability to adapt to those changes. Simp, we look at him as being really good because he doesn't really have down years. He can look at any game and he'll figure out a way to play well in that game. Yes, theoretically, you could run your team where you start out really bad and then you find the kind of cusp of the league players to come in and then maybe you improve a little bit. But then next year that progress is deleted and they're terrible again. You got to get rid of them and then you got to find a new player. Wouldn't it just be easier to find a young player and see if they're, really good and see if they have that ability to adapt and see if they're more prevalent of a player than TJ? That just seems like an easier way to run a team to me.
Maybe, but this is the same CDL with, Cloud9 New York offering 20K salaries, right? Like, there is no longevity in esports. So I don't care if TJ's only good for a year. We got our year out of him. He can go back to challengers after the year, We got him on his good year, smell you later. We did some play testing because we have access to it as a CDL org of the new game. We're kind of feeling it out. Oh, it's looking more like Modern Warfare 2. Well, sorry, buddy. Not going to be your year. We all know it isn't. So see you later. You can rotate it. That is honestly the angle Cloud9 should be going for. Like, get these like cusp of the league players and rotate them based on what game they're going to be good at and what game they're good at. I've been saying for time that this is the way you should be GMing in Call of Duty because, yeah, it is different every year. And it's true that there's players that just surpass that, right? Like, if you're on Simps level, you're always going to be good. Like, it's Simp, bro. The guy is the GOAT, or at least a strong contender for it, depending on your perspective. But these kind of cusp of the league players, I think you should be rotating them every year, bro. Get Hixian the next time we have Modern Warfare 2. That guy was beast. He's never been good since, but he was a beast at Modern Warfare 2, right? Like, you can do that. You can rotate these players based on what the game's like.
I look at the league and I see what generally like the top orgs are. Generally you have FaZe up there. Generally not right now. You have Toronto up there. You have Optic up there. On an upward trajectory right now, it looks like Heretics are up there. None of those teams really operate their roster in that way. They've been able to kind of retool and find players that, they can keep. Like Toronto, like last year, Beans didn't work out, but they found Joe Deceives, and now he's potentially the best player on their team right now. If you look at FaZe, Thieves kind of brought Draza up, and then they were able to bring Draza over, and now he's had some poor performances, but he's not a bad player by any means. Draza is doing well, and Look at Abuza. Like they've found like good players, and they were able to bring in good players.
My son.
Even Miami, it's like none of those guys are like the most like cracked player, but they found players that were good, and they built the system, and they built up the team. Just having, it is a way, I guess, you could run your org to be super volatile, and see what this game kind of what tendencies it would favor, and then go get the challengers players to do that. But none of the top teams, you're never going to become a real contender of a team if you're operating your roster that way, I don't think. And I think just looking at the top of our league, I think that kind of proves it.
Hey, all I'm saying is that's what people thought before Moneyball happened. Right? They used to say, you just got to pay a lot of money. You can't compete with the New York Yankees. You don't have the money to buy the best players. It's just inevitable, right? Think about a lot of those examples you named. I think Miami's the only one that has actually pulled challengers players in, right? All those other rosters are taking established high quality players, right? Moneyball happened, and all of a sudden,
Optic took Mercules, and he had a good major, but I mean, he was by no means established.
Who was, sorry?
Mercules. He was by no means established when Optic went and got him.
Oh yeah, I guess you could say for Mercules. Fair enough. But I was thinking more so with FaZe and the others. Yeah.
Well, I mean, and again, United, when they picked up Simp, to my knowledge, he wasn't like the most established player. Was he?
He was an extremely hyped rookie. He was the most
hyped
rookie.
Was he? Yes, he was the fucking money.
No. Listen to my question. Was he highly touted, or was he just, or was he? There's a difference between being an established, really good player and just like a really hyped up prospect. Was he just a really hyped up prospect?
No. He was established because he has been taking S&D money from pros since BO3.
Okay, I didn't know that. Fair enough then.
Yeah. So he was probably the most hyped rookie incoming of all time.
Fair enough. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, because he just wasn't of age to play in the league. Like, everyone knew he was sick. He just wasn't old enough. So it was literally like the day he turned 18, he got a contract.
See, he was so hyped that even Orion Hero who came in BO4 knows this lore.
I know Insight had played like some CWL before he got his CDL spot in Cold War, but like, was he really established when he got the Cold War spot?
No, he never played,
I wouldn't say so.
He never played CWL. He played in Champs because he qualified as an AMT.
Gotcha.
No, he wasn't established though. Yeah, that would be a great one for your examples.
The best teams, like, they're there because I guess Envy Optic is kind of like one entity now in the current state of the CDL, I guess, but Shotzi is split. But like, Shotzi is on Optic now because because Envy took the chance on him, basically, and that Optic team now is kind of like Optic and Envy kind of went like that.
Envy's gone, by the way. But
I know.
I think it.
What
works
I'm trying to
for
say is
Davey's
that
example.
Shotzi is another example of this. The way the top teams have kind of gotten to the top is by taking kind of unestablished players, and they turn out to be really, really great.
I will concur.
Shotzi was not.
Shotzi was not established
in Modern Warfare 2019. Okay.
I will concur. He was a risk. I will not concur that he is a completely unknown quantity because he already had a Halo ring. Whatever we say about, it's a different game or whatever, you at least knew that he was a pro-level caliber player or had the ability to be a pro-level caliber player. You did not know that would work.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess to summarize my point here, the top orgs we have, even if they're not in good shape right now, like Toronto, the orgs that we generally think of as being at the top right now got there because they were able to find players that weren't necessarily the most established. You don't see any orgs picking up like TJ Haley or ProLoot or Capsidal yet and make it to the upper echelon of orgs that we have in the league. It just, to my knowledge, it hasn't really happened.
Optic, they picked up TJ back in the day. Black Ops 4, baby. I just watching Davey turn redder and redder on the camera, bro. I successfully rage baited him with that statement.
There's a reason he's not on Optic anymore. Okay, let's just say that.
Yeah, no, I was just rage baiting there. Don't you worry.
Yeah.
No, but honestly, I think that also something here that I think is worth bringing up for your example with Miami is, has the Miami experiment existed long enough for us to say that those players are like that, where they are just going to be good every year? Because in my opinion, Rancor and Super have only played the Treyarch like Black Ops 4 style, I'm going to call it, just because
That's fair.
Black Ops 4 is the one that, in my opinion, has like the most recognition in terms of the sort of gameplay style. I know it was 5v5, but same sort of concept where it's like fast movement, sliding, but not necessarily lots of slide canceling. Team shot oriented, very fundamental focused. Spawns, generally speaking, makes sense. I know Colossus is a bit iffy this year, but actually, I think for the last 2 years, spawns have been extremely logical. Have they really played a different style of Call of Duty? Not yet that I've seen at the pro level. I am curious, are they going to function that good when a Modern Warfare 2 comes along?
That's a fair question. Going off of my kind of premise that I mentioned earlier, that I kind of view Miami as the new Toronto, where they're not like the best players individually, but their strengths come from just the system that they've developed. Going off of that premise, I have faith that they will be, but it's a fair question. We don't know that for sure.
Let's wrap it up here. Now, I'd say this was the most 50-50 argument we've had so far. Both bring good points, but the biggest takeaway that I've gotten from this is that next year is MW4. From all accounts, it seems like it's going to be a rehash of MW2. So what's happening now is if Thieves continue to fuck this shit up, they just need to drop Neum for Hixie. Who else was great on MW2? Hydra.
Scrap.
Hixie is going to wing his ring with Hydra next year on Thieves on MW4. All right. Now.
That is some propaganda. That is some propaganda right there. Honestly, if you're going for that angle, pick up Kismet. He's just a better version of Hixie.
You wanna know the saddest part is, actually, now that I think about it, the same event I got this Beans jersey. There was also a Hixie jersey. I did not take the Hixie jersey.
Come on, bro. That was the major they won at home. That's actually shameful of you. That's shameful of you.
I really should have, but my fucking bags are full.
That was actually okay. Hold on. I need to prove that I'm an unk and I'm really about this for a minute. We were at the event where the first ever "fuck you" draws a chant happened.
Yes,
we watched it live at that event.
Crowd. We started it.
Yeah, so that's all I'm saying. I'm part of Call of Duty history. Anyways.
We made history.
Yeah.
We are fucking endemic to this shit, and that's why you gotta listen to our opinion. Speaking of opinions, let's talk about the upcoming matches for this next weekend. Now, okay. Friday, Vancouver Surge, FaZe Vegas. Okay. Falcons, New York. Jesus Christ, we're being hit with those two off the rip. And then Koi, Thieves. Dude, Friday's gonna be 3-0. Okay. Saturday, Koi, G2.
Wait, hold on. You really think LA 3-0's Koi after the change?
I don't think so.
After the change?
Honeymoon period.
Okay.
Honeymoon buff is pretty sick, I will say.
Neum versus Kips. Old Huntsman teammates. See them go head to head. Might be some heat there. Let's see. You know what? You guys have brought me back. Let's go Koi. I believe.
I think that is truly that's such a wild card match. I have no idea how to predict that. It's that is a crazy wild card match.
Do you guys think Cloud9's going to win their first map against Falcons this weekend?
No, let's move on. Koi.
No?
First map or match? First map, I agree. They'll win a map. They'll win a map.
What are they going to win?
Search. Rihanna is so bad at Search, bro. It's crazy.
That is wild. You're saying that they're gonna win against fucking baiting ass Cell. Come on, dude. That alone should win. Shouldn't stop anything, dude.
Listen, man. Cell might be baiting, but he also got that 4-piece on exposure this last week. I was pretty hyped watching that. That was sweet.
Look, you're saying that they're gonna win them. Okay. I'm gonna go into my fucking rage against C9 again. Koi.
Oh, actually, I've got what I want to talk about. You're about to intro it, Koi G2. I'm very sorry, Dino, but you just know how much I love to talk about.
I'm talking about copium for Koi, and I'm talking about how I used to have copium for G2. I've lost faith in G2. I still have faith in Koi. This is the start of their bounce back. Honeymoon period, free match against G2. Go on, hit me with the Estro hate again.
Listen. Toronto Koi, all you have to do is make it to game 5 and the series is secured, bro. It's so free at that point. Just make it to game 5, dog. You're chilling. You're chilling. You just need to sneak out 2. Just find 2 that you can win. You can probably win the overload, right? You can probably win, I don't know, maybe a respawn against them.
Just get to game 5.
Toronto Neslo G2 in this match. That's my prediction.
Shit.
Yeah. And Minnesota's usually the Neslo team, but I don't know, man. It's looking...
Fuck me, dude.
It's looking good for Koi. Like,
Right.
all I'm saying is you got to get to game 5.
Next match, Thieves versus Breach. Another fake win for Thieves to just give him
Nasty revenge game.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I was about to say, I don't think this is going to be free, bro. I think Boston is on the up and up. I think Purge played like a human this last week, which he definitely could say about him before. I think Boston's on the up and up, bro. I think, maybe not yet. I think they're going to peak around Major 4. No, Major 3, I'll say. They're going to peak. We don't have 4 majors this year, I don't think. Or do we? I don't even know anymore, man.
We have 4.
Yeah. I think Boston probably starts to peak around Major 3, but I think they're starting to heat up here. I think LA is going to be like, yeah, bro, we beat the 2 bottom teams in the CDL. We're so sick, bro. Like, yeah, this is the right roster move. And then, any form of resistance is going to tilt them. I think what's going to happen, LA Thieves goes up the first 2 maps. Boston wins the overload. And from there, it's anyone's series.
Next match, Gentlemates, Ravens. I'm not surprised if this goes a little bit farther. Maybe game 5, at least 3-1, purely on the online cheese. Yeah.
Nah, Mates 3-0.
Okay, all right. I have Gentlemen.
Davey, what do you think? Sorry, I've been chatting a lot.
No, I think they'll get fucked over by internet. That's the only reason why. Only reason, network.
I don't know. Paris is just so good, man. They're just so good.
Yeah, but you can't shoot against 150 ping. That's my point. They're so better. They're so much better. Yes, I agree. They're so much better. Call of Duty fuckery is gonna happen. Online fuckery is gonna happen. That they're gonna ruin my 3-0 prediction, and it's gonna be a dirty 3-1 stain.
Maybe.
But spiritually, I'm with you with the 3-0. Next, I think this next one is a kind of banger match, don't you think? Texas Heretics.
This is the true test if Heretics is a legit team now, in my opinion.
This is gonna be a really good map to watch.
I was gonna swap it. This is a true test if Texas deserved the top 2 spot.
Yeah.
No, because Texas don't like to play online. Like, it's clear, right? Like, they're not taking online that seriously.
Fair enough.
So for me, Miami, it's like you have to be able to beat Texas when they're not in peak form. Because let's face it, like, Mercury's hard carried them to their online wins this last week. Like, hard carried them to their online wins. So, in my opinion, if Miami can't win this when, like, the only player that's playing the game is Mercury's, they're still not a good team at that point then.
Okay, tangent. I need to bring this back from a couple weeks ago. Everyone talking about online cheese. Shut up. Stop it. You don't have to be a Call of Duty player if you don't want to. You play games online, you play some on LAN, okay? That's how it works. If you don't like it, go do a different job. I don't care. I don't want to hear, oh, we don't care about online. We don't care about it.
You're all playing in the same state anyways, bro, on fiber internet. Like, oh no, my ping is 27. Bro, I played League of Legends my whole life above 50 ping. My whole life. Okay?
And
most people never get below 50 ping in North America.
Canada, yeah.
Yeah,
Toronto's
but
good, and they on Canada ping, okay?
League of Legends isn't an FPS, and you don't need to have that instant reaction to League
gosh.
of Legends MOBA.
I played Counter-Strike on 50 ping, always, bro. Like, you think I was getting the Canadian servers in my Face-It games? No, man.
Dude, I'm still on cable internet in this building, and I was able to make it to gold, okay? You should be able to win some games if you're a pro. Come on.
Church.
No, but
Church.
and then you hear people talking about, oh, online shouldn't matter as much as it does, but it does. There's people are questioning whether online matches should count for a lot. And I'm like, yes, they should.
Whoa.
There's only there's four majors in the year.
Not just
Is
that.
there 4 majors?
Not just
Is there 4
that,
majors in a year?
You say that. Bottom 4 teams don't even play a major this major. That's the format this
Wait,
major.
really? They're going back to, like, the year
No, bottom
one
2
format?
teams. Bottom 2 teams
Is it
don't
bottom
go.
2?
Yeah. But anyways,
Bottom 4 would be crazy.
people are saying that the online matches shouldn't matter as much as LAN. I say, yes, they should. Because there's what, 4 majors a year before champs. Okay, so that's
Okay, bottom 2. Yeah.
4 times 4, 16. You think 16 days in the whole season is what matters more than the rest of the entire season? Like 6, 7, 8, like 4, 5, 6 weeks of COD before one weekend? Do you think the only 16 days of COD should matter? Half of those days, half the teams aren't playing because they either are in losers bracket and they skip Thursday, or they are in winners and they skip Friday. If only the lands count, there's like no sample size of games that count.
I think their
You know,
argument is though
it's
that
like-
they just want more lands.
No, I
Yeah,
agree
but-
with you. That would be fun. You know what they should do? 2018 Overwatch League, they had the Blizzard Arena. If all of the teams are in one city anyways, other than Toronto and, you know, the one team that doesn't have a facility, if everyone is in one city, then just move the CDL studio to that city and then have them play on LAN in the studio
All
every
right,
time.
I don't even need to do this one. You can take this one. Teach this youngin about BO4 season.
I'm not gonna lie, you cut out for almost all that sentence.
You
so I
cut
didn't
out
hear
for
what you
all of
said.
that.
Teach this youngin about what?
I said this youngin doesn't know. Tell him about the BO4 season.
I don't know what you're referring to with the BO4 season.
We
I
had-
assume it was the first year where we didn't have true LAN.
Oh no, we had the system up to BO4 where they all played out of Columbus in the MOG studio. Where they're
Oh yeah,
shooting
yeah,
out
like the
of
pro
right now.
league
So
matches.
they've done this
yeah,
before.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
and also
So just do that.
Yeah, and I agree it would be nice to have that, but I also think it's not necessarily. I'm fully with
It's also
Davey
not
here.
necessary.
Like it's just total crybaby cheese. Like Call of Duty is like the most degenerate esport in terms of like the players. Like these guys could not figure out the ingredients to a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Like there's a reason they keep making the game less tactics focused. It's because these guys still haven't figured out you can breathe with your mouth closed. Like it's just bad, man. Like it's just Unga Bunga, the video game, and it's fun to watch because of it. But like, man,
Seriously, like you're this is the job that you're choosing to do and dedicate your life to right now. Don't complain when you have to do the job under the normal circumstances of the job. Just do it. Shut up. I don't want to hear it anymore. I get it. When there was the promise that it was going to be events in COVID, and then it was mostly online, that's frustrating. I get it. That was 6 years ago. Grow up. Play the game. Play
Now,
the game.
before we keep going further in this hole, talking about onliners, we got Ravens versus Falcons. We got the Bird matchup. I don't know actually. I could see Ravens bouncing back. What do you
Oh,
think?
speaking of the Bird matchup, I got another impression I can do here.
Okay. Ooh, it's PS5.
You know who I am?
No. Wait, who's this supposed to be?
I'm Xnid.
is Xnid's always tilted? I was trying to find a coin in my
It's
office
tilted
here that I
and
could flip.
sideways. It's
Oh, right.
tilted
Okay,
and
okay.
Sideways.
This is how we'll decide, right? Do I have a coin?
Yeah, yeah. I'm trying to find. You got a coin? Near
I got
you,
a
Dino?
coin. I got a coin.
I have
All
a
right,
coin.
yeah, yeah.
I got a loony.
All right, you do it. You do it.
What am I doing?
As our Falcons lover, flip it for him.
You know
what,
what?
what
Yes,
are they?
this is
Are
how
they
we'll
heads?
decide Falcons whenever. Heads is what?
Heads is dub. Because
Cool.
they're ahead.
Okay. All right, go for it.
And then tails is loss. Oh, that was I dropped it, but it was tails.
Oh.
All right, there we
Ravens,
go.
all
It was
right.
it was
Ravens.
the loon. It was the loon. It was not the face.
All right. All
There
right,
we go.
let's go.
Educate the Americans.
Nothing
Yeah.
more that needs to be said. Ravens win. Next one, Surge, Breach. Now you're talking about how Breach is on a upwards trend. Even despite that, I think Breach still take it. Quite honestly, yeah, they take it. There's
Yeah,
no
I don't know. I think Vancouver's a land team, which is actually kind of funny to say out loud when I say it.
TJ
But
Halley.
I think Vancouver's kind of a land team, so I think Boston wins this comfortably.
All right, he's got nothing more to say. Just more impressions. Now, Texas, New York.
You said TJ Halley and I zoned out. I'm sorry.
Oh, true.
Texas, New York, man, I don't even
okay,
care.
Yeah,
I don't even
no,
care.
no spicy hot takes. Just it's Texas. It's Texas. Okay, G2 Vegas.
I think Vegas can get to map 5, so I think it's a dub for Vegas.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, right. And that's our next matches. Quite honestly, a lot more matches upcoming. A lot more shit matches to fill it out, though. Wait, thought the whole point of adding more matches is making this shit fun, but it just looks like more slog.
No, man. I think some of these, like, I understand that it's bad teams on paper, but those can be extremely fun to watch, man. Extremely fun. You're
love a
telling
fun
me
fiesta.
that in that New York G2 series, when the hard point was going abysmally, you weren't on the edge of your seat, Dino? You weren't, like, gripping your hair, grabbing it, like, about to rip it out?
I was literally doing this, but not on the edge. I was just leaning back, wondering why I dedicated this much of my life into this shit esport when I could have been fucking living it up in CS or some shit like that, dude.
No, but that's what I mean. Low-tier matches can be cinema, bro. Doesn't have to be for the standings. Like, come down in the mud and scrap with us, bro. We're already playing a tier 3 esport. I need
I
that
love a clown
picture on
fiesta.
command of, like, way back in the first year of the CDL where it was the Dallas Empire and they had the WWE, but it was with, like, routers. I need that on command, bro.
That's
That
like-
shit was
bro,
so fun.
That's like saying The Room is cinema, man.
It is cinema.
Fuck off, dude.
The Room is more
Tearing me
recognizable than
apart,
99% of movies that came out this year.
2026?
We're
There's
not
not been that many movies yet.
we're not going to a fucking movie ass film debate here. All right.
We're
It's
both
going to
film
be a
bros,
movie,
though.
bro. These
I
low-tier
know,
teams,
that's
it
the
can be a
thing.
movie.
We are film bros here, but we ain't doing that. That's been the matches, and I honestly didn't think I'd be screaming that much this episode, but that's been that, and we'll catch you after these next set of matches. We'll talk to you next week. Any last words from you, boys?
Kick Estriel.